to jump. Let's try it. Oh, I think the gap between the wires is a little bit too wide for the 2 kilovolt to jump across. Ow! It's funny. I can turn on a blown fluorescent lamp using wireless power and a sophisticated Tesla circuit, and I can't figure out how it works. Ooh, high voltage. Here's the capacitor. Ready? Oh, so don't do this at home. Now we'll have high voltage as I'm holding a match there. Let's give it a try. Whoa, 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 whoa. So don't do this at home. Now as soon as I turn on this, what the? One side to the filament, and I'm going to carefully touch the other side of the filament. And what if I add some sparklers to it? It's getting there. Oh my god! Oh! Now let me measure the output of the transformer. I'm using a resistor divider to step down the voltage first to protect my multimeter. Now if we measure that, it is... I don't really need them though. If you remember, I made my own taser back in my old video. The arcs can jump well. You don't bring your finger close to a stun gun when it's running. Okay, let's slowly raise the voltage and see what happens. Yeah, there is something. Oh! This is not water and baking soda, it is lighter fuel. Always read the labels. I've borrowed an ESD gun and I've set it to 25 kilovolts, and I'll bring a ground wire close so that the arcs start jumping. And then I can measure the air gap using my arcs created by my circuit. They're in order of 100,000 volts, and yet the only sound you hear from the... Plug it in. Now the circuit is hot and the voltage is on the... Plug it in. Let's try it out. Wow, this is wild. You can see how far... Now. This gap is quite wide. Let me measure it for you. Oh, tonight? No, I'm completely free to... Oh, tonight? No, I'm completely free to... The skin here is quite sensitive to temperature, and you can tell the temperature quite accurately. And see what happens. Oh, what did I do? A pretty harmless voltage. And I'm gonna plug it in and see if I can hear a communication. Let's dial. Oh, wait! Phew! I put 48 volts across a 16 volt capacitor. Phew! It's not even warm. Now let's design. And here is the circuit I designed. Voltage level and increase the frequency all the way to 60 Hz. I shock my ass sitting on these live wires. Always clean up the lab, otherwise something... Finally, let's power it up. To use my angle grinder to sharpen the spoon. Oh, I can feel my hair rising. Ow! Something zapped me right in the ass. Okay, now let's... Always be aware of your surroundings. Now to improve the airflow, it's better to raise the... Don't put your hand in a running fan. Ventilation, as I'll show later. The result was negligible. Yo. Okay, let's hope I sealed everything well. Piece of shit. I'm done, man. My plexiglass just broke in half under the pressure. Hell? The hell? Why bad things happen to good people? Come on. Go. 15-volt peaks. Then they feed that into a full bridge rectifier and a capacitor that it seems quite rigid and solid. Is this expert enough? Oh, right. The polar capacitors are no good for reverse voltage. Fine, I have a bunch of ceramic capacitors. Okay, now I have the entire circuit, and if I connect the AC input, well, that's awful. You see the LEDs start to get red as the head hits it to the output of my auto transformer. I should and burn my fingers again. Let's see. Oh, I'm starting to think coming up with the idea of a light bulb didn't require much genius. In fact, the dumber you are, the more likely you are to invent a light bulb. So that the arcs start jumping. And then I can measure the air gap using my by this induction cooktop. Power out of it. I'm measuring the capacitor voltage and it's around... I killed it. Don't short the voltage at the output. Holy the capacitor. Gun here simulates a human finger. Here we have... It is important that after you use your meter in current mode, you switch it back to voltage. Otherwise, it will short your circuits. What's up with my circuits and all this smoke? Life is a piece of shit. Isn't it just a genius design? Call home. Okay. It seems like everything is in order. The circuit is not warm. Everything is good. Stupid lamp, where did this come from? Damn it. Okay, let's do it. And I had to buy 10 foot of this PVC pipe because I only needed 3 inches. So at the end of the video, I'll give away 117 inches of... No. Let's see if it can take the heat. I can say that the voltage of the dome can be over 200,000 volts. And that's just the voltage when it... Because I've seen worse.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Every night, I can feel my leg and my arm.
I have my capacitor and diode here, and I'm probing across the diode. Now if I connect the circuits together... Wow! Open the cell phone without breaking anything. Where the are those Phillips screws? Try to turn it on and retrieve all the data available. Find and identify the broken chip. Order new part and replace it. Put the phone back together and it would work like a charm. I wonder what it is. How hot is it? Wow, 135 degrees Celsius? This is a supercapacitor rated for 2.7 volts and it is 400 farads. Stop yelling at the camera! You thought the cap was gonna blow? Oh no, no, this is expensive, be careful. Short the supercap. Of course the resistance of this wire is gonna limit the current through the supercap. I totally burned my finger. First I have to set up a spot for my scope so it doesn't get dirty. Now I disconnect the battery positive to replace it with the capacitor. Blades are broken. If I break two opposite blades, then it will balance. Wrong too. There you go. Good as new. Now to improve the airflow, it's better to raise the lamp. Don't put your hand in a running fan. That blows the fuse, and it can't even protect the circuit here. Even their data sheet says reverse polarity connection will result in a blown fuse and may cause permanent damage to the inverter. Absolute garbage. And for that, I made this harness that you can plug to both sides. First, you plug it to the inverter. Anytime you connect a power harness, connect it to your load side first, so you wouldn't short your power supply or shock yourself. I'm only human after all. Let's very carefully plug it in. Easier if I just disconnect that specific room, which I believe is breaker number 3. Now we can safely plug them in. Apparently it was breaker number 2. You need to know how microwaves work. There. Oh, there. Oh, and staples. The line enters from that corner and feeds it. Freezes it upwards of 2000 volts and feeds it to the magnetron, which resonates and outputs high power waves, and those waves shake the polar molecules, generating much heat. And this is a fan. Start the arc. Holy sh**. And we put our pot on the oven and set this to high, and it's on. Who turned this on? Now we cook a fresh batch of hot glue noodles to perfection. It's dripping all over the place. Now it's on fire. Make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. Add more as needed to your taste. Ah, lots of poisonous gases. I think it's ready to serve. Now I'll make a bunch of holes in a ping pong ball using my soldering iron. And this is to block the ventilation, as I'll show later. Wow. The result was negligible. Yeah. Okay, let's hope I sealed everything well. Piece of shit. I'm done, man. My plexiglass just broke in half under the pressure. Measuring the AC voltages at the input. So don't do this at home. Now we'll have high voltage as. Now as soon as I turn on this. What the f is this? Ow! Don't try this at home. Now as soon as. Why? Now if we measure that, it is slowly raise the voltage and see what happens. Yeah, there is something. Oh! I think the gap between the wires is a little bit too wide for the 2 kilovolt to jump across. Ow! Let's give it a try. Come on. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Breaker. Breaker. Oh my God! Oh. The hell? The hell? Why bad things happen to good people? Come on. Ooh. Hi, I'd like to talk about the ground fault circuit interrupter outlets. They are typically installed, which is the green, the breaker should pop. That wasn't the outlet breaker. The whole washroom breaker popped. 910 kilo. Oh, it popped. Wet hand AC is around 0.8 milliamps. Soapy hand DC, it's around 0.8.9 milliamps. Soapy hand AC, ow, 1.3, 1.4. Tongue DC, electricity, so the current is limited to one hand. Support my channel at patreon.com because my family could use the money after my demise. It's dry, right? Ow. The current reading. Ow. Ow. Be a man. Ow. This is nothing. This is nothing for me. Come on out. Pain. Okay, come on. Sorry guys, the pain is too much for me, but I'm sure it will. Hi, why? Why is internet filled with fake garbage like this guy making a fake generator to charge a cell phone? Then the fields would be coming out like this. So if we rotate the magnet...
Is that Uranus?
What? Get out! Which I love and cherish. If I shove the magnet into the coil, I see that the voltage is generated. And the faster I go, the higher the amplitude, like this. What the are you doing? What? Just close the door next time. What? Such a generator outputs an AC voltage. You need a full bridge rectifier first to convert it into DC before converting it into 5 volt using the regulator he used. It is much harder to turn because it's taking power from me to charge the phone. Somewhere around 3 watts of power from Tesla coil. Let's play Pink Panther. My f***ing brain cells! Tone with a lamp on. Lighter. I need a Faraday cage. Okay, here we are, my metal glove connected to ground. There you go. Yeah. There you go. 17-volt peaks. Then they feed that into a full bridge rectifier and a capacitor that it seems quite rigid and solid. Is this expert enough? You see the LEDs start to get red as the head hits. Done, and it only took over 19 hours to print. Hi, this is an irrelevant video with no electronics. Who kept this on? Let me tell you that I actually have a muso here. Like this.
You can now truly enjoy a sweet night under your ideal environment.
In conclusion, here is how muso works in all the modes. Let me read you a passage. Once everyone else was settled in
Their old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and in his farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O.
No, and that's why I'm here in the kitchen. I'm gonna put my hand in the water and start heating it up and talk as long as I can keep my hand in the water. Hi, high quality audio is very important in a video. On the other hand, it's worth a booger if your content is shit. Take a note of that. Today I'll show you how to change your brake pads on your car. Listen to this. It's called lapel. Lapel. I think that's how it's pronounced. I like it how in English, knowing the arrangement of the letters, you can understand how it's pronounced.
Lapel. Lapel.
$200 to over $1,000? That, I'll make my own. So here's my transmitter and receiver system. And I can make it as long as my proper antenna length. Okay, I have the circuit on the breadboard. Let's power it up. I created a light bulb. Obviously there's a wrong connection. Hello? 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 Oh. The circuit on the breadboard. Let's do a quick smoke test. What's up with my circuits and all the smoke? Life is a piece of shit. Isn't it just a genius design? Yes! This video is sponsored by Rode Microphones, the builders of the best microphones in the universe! And with this, I can walk anywhere I want and my sound quality remains the same. Just gonna connect. Touch the other side of the video. Okay, let's turn it on. What happened? The hell? Did it pop? You see that? Yeah, I think it's turning on, yeah. At 15 volt. Did it pop? Something tells me this is not the right setup, but whatever. Oh. And happy holidays to everyone.
Give away.
I said happy holidays to everyone. Reduce the voltage to something like 1 volt because, you know, the resistance of the tongue is much smaller than the skin. And still, if I short the power supply, I get the same 150 amps. Okay, you can see it still sparks. Let's try it out. What the f? I thought I set it to 1 volt. Huge. Don't completely trust the gauges on your instruments and always double check them with a meter. Hoping that at least the capacitors are not charged anymore. Let's try them out. And you can see a tiny negative sign beside it. That means that that side needs to be connected to ground or negative. It's also beneficial to zap a bare board like this one and see what happens on the actual board. Never hold the board you're zapping with your hand because the ESD will jump to your body through the board. Always discharge a charged board before touching it. Gun here simulates a human finger. Always be careful with your tool. But right now I'm touching the wires and I can't even feel it because the voltage is not high enough. Who's this? No, I'm not Steve. Wrong number. I can feel the electricity with my finger, so I'll put it in the water. Nothing. Let's get close to the wires. Nothing. Still nothing. Oh, I'm starting to feel it here. What is this? Oh, there's a cut on this finger and the electricity can go through it much easier. You know, the flesh under the skin is much more... die. It's a simple device. It's a belt that you tie around your belly with a tiny device that senses your motion. As long as you move, you're okay. But if you stop for any reason, it'll zap you like a mother... You will move no matter what, or else you will feel the pain. The device may often false trigger to sharp objects and it cannot be caught. Including yourself. The device is very simple. It runs on 2 AA or AAA batteries and has 2 electrodes on the bottom and turns on with a switch. Now if you don't move, it says... If you stop moving, it senses that and will shock you. Here. It in some nice packaging. With this revolutionary device, with the flick of a switch, you're ready to stay on Earth. I make this simple circuit and I'll plug it in. Now the circuit is hot and the voltages on this... Something you must never forget is that some capacitors, like electrolytic ones, are polarized and you must never connect them. Due to the shock and the pain, your body can react fast. It'll contract your leg muscles and make you jump. The wires at this end are tied together in pairs, as you can see, and each pair is attached to one of these cables, which we can plug them into the wall power plug. Please join me for the first time to hear how it sounds. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It definitely made me sound like a rock star, although it feels more like an electric chair than a guitar. It is extremely dangerous to touch the 110 volt or 220 volt power lines. You can easily get killed. And believe me, nothing's worth touching a power line. Hi, replacing the light bulb is one of the simple things to do. The first thing you need to do is to remove the broken bulb. Ow! First, you have to make sure that the bulb is not too hot. Sometimes when you use a lamp for a long period of time and it goes through a lot of temperature cycles and the screw part is rusted, when you try to unscrew it from the fixture, the screw part can break off the glass part and gets stuck in the fixture. Just make sure you don't cut your fingers and take the screw part out. My finger. Good thing the breaker opened. Don't just shove your finger in an electrical socket or fixture. Always make sure it's powered down or unplugged. And even then, always use a tool, not your finger. I broke the bulb. Don't buy cheap bulbs and don't screw them too tight, otherwise they'll break. There's a switch. I guess I'll have to redo. Well, the lamp is already out, so always use a tool to get the screw part out. Unplug! Damn it! Unplug! The nuts can become quite stiff over time. Rather than using your hands and put pressure on your back, you can use your foot and put your weight on the driver, like this. These screws also get quite tight and need some good force to open. Oh my god, I just hit and released the jack accidentally and the car fell over. The wheel fell right on my shoe, but I was able to pull my foot out fast. Always make sure your jack is mounted safe and stable and secure before working on your car. Remove the lens, you'll see the giant flash capacitor back here. Ow! Piece of shit! Apparently the flash capacitor is holding around 300 volts of charge in it and it can hurt a lot if you touch it, so I recommend you discharge this capacitor before working on the camera. Remember what those were and store them nicely to avoid losing them. Now let's take a look at the camera here. mount it on the tail by piercing into the tail. Well, never pierce a hole towards your body. This tail is a little bit tough, so I'm going to drill a hole into it. Do not drill, pierce, cut, or do anything dangerous towards your body parts. A quick research shows that different transformers work best at different frequencies. This transformer is obviously not made for the 60 Hz city power frequency. There is nothing. Is there actually a voltage? Well, my theory was right. Obviously there is high voltage on the secondary, but the problem is that that high voltage pulse period is so short it can't create an... Wow, this is wild. You can see how far... It's a strange pain. It's as if somebody is stabbing your finger, but the blade, it doesn't stop there. It keeps going through your veins until it reaches your heart. This gap is quite wide. Let me measure it for you. Well, you know, metal is generally conductive and electrons always find the easiest path to travel. So I would never touch any high voltage with a 100-mile long metal pole. Let's look at the spark some more. The anti-pair. I just tighten these nuts here. Always be careful not to short your car battery. Now I connected these cables to the battery and all I want to do is to pass them under here. If I can just pass these cables under the table here. Always finish your wiring before connecting to your power supply. Now instead I'm going to use my power limited supply up here that will drive this pump that's made of this DC brushed motor here, and it's going to run fluid into the cylinder back here that will move it around. Now I enable the power supply. Always double check your connections. Hi, I'm done growing my Movember. My mustache made me look like a few people. One of them scared me every morning. The funny thing is that we Iranians fought this guy for 8.5 years, and now I'm him. The second guy that I look like is actually okay. I want to break free! I should remove this mustache before I die from some ST falls out. I assume they use something like a taser that zaps the hair dead, and for that purpose I'm going to use my homemade taser. Okay, let's try it out. Here I'd like to thank all women for going through so much pain to make themselves more appealing to us, and I want to say it's not necessary. Some of us may like you for your looks, but at the end of the day, it's your health and attitude that makes us love you, and it's much less. Try that. I have my lighter fuel here and my fire extinguisher in case anything goes wrong. Just put a dab of this on my mustache, and I'm ready to go. This is a air horn. Make yourself familiar with your tools. Let's charge the car battery with these. Now I have to wait till... Remember, to charge the battery with another, you have to connect the positive to positive and negative to negative. Otherwise, you'll short the battery. There you go. You saw what happened. Always make sure the wire gauge can handle the high current. Here that acts like a trigger. So here we go. Well, it's always wise to aim away from yourself. So let's try again. Put the bullet in. Wow! Let's try it a couple of more times. Some waveforms. I connected the probe to my output lines, connected my circuit to this power bar, and now I will turn the power bar on. My fuse just blew up, Something I realized the hard way is that the ground of the probe is actually shorted to the earth of the power plug through the scope. So what? We are safe now. As you can see on the scope, the output voltage is around 170 volts. Now I like to use my 100 ohm resistor and connect it to the output to see how the waveform changes. A quick calculation shows having 170 volt across 100 ohm generates 300 watts of power. It's like having a 300 watt lamp between your fingers. It burns your skin very quickly. Now I use pliers to hold the resistor. See, the output voltage drops, but with very small ripples because there is a lot of filtering. Wow, I was holding that. I let it cool down for a while and the ceramic cortex, it's almost finished now. Just need another piece of wire. When doing something else, always put the iron down. Okay, let's power it up and see what happens. Oh, what did I do?
What the f*** did you do?
I'm fine, thanks.
Idiot.
What? Every battery has a positive and a negative contact. Never connect them backwards. Oh, and if your circuit starts smoking, unplug it quickly before anything else. I can even play music from it. Always turn the soldering iron off after you're done with it. Kind of works. It's a little bit weak though. Nothing that a strong drill battery can take care of. This baby is 12 volts compared to the two AA's that are 3 volts total. It's gonna give it the oomph that it needs. Okay, let's power it up. I better do this stupid that you will regret for the rest of your life. It's a very simple and yet effective circuit. Let's turn it on. A polarized capacitor mounted backwards is always a big no-no. Effective current. Everyone has access to the AC voltage, which is the 120 volt AC city power line. To measure the current through my body, I connect my current meter to the AC line and hold the probe on one side and only touch one of the AC lines. Well, that was a pretty bad idea. I couldn't keep steady enough to read the stupid meter. And I could have died. See, the thing is that the current meter is like a short circuit and it's not gonna isolate your body against high voltage. Well, rather than checking my own body capacitance, let's start with a real capacitor. At least real capacitors can't get electrocuted. Well, using 120 volt AC is a pretty bad idea. Don't mess with AC power. Video. Now this string is one that I couldn't fix with the lighter sparker and doesn't turn on either. Let's try the taser now. You should know better not to get too close to high voltage. Let me zap this one. There is no easy way to use this damn taser. Don't hurt yourselves. If you really want to know what electricity pain feels like, then take a 9 volt or less battery and put it on your tongue and you'll know. As I mentioned in my other video, a power supply like this one that can generate 70 amps doesn't necessarily hurt you at all if the voltage is set very low. Observe. No! Who the hell set this to 25 volts? And increase the frequency all the way to 60 Hz. I shock my ass sitting on these live wires. Always clean up the lab, otherwise something will bite you in the ass. Oh my god. Okay, finally, let's power it up. It's done. Let's turn it on and see how it looks like. The LED lights can be very intense and directional, so don't look into them directly as it may hurt. I want to break free! I should remove this mustache before I die from some STD. use my homemade taser. Okay, let's try it out. Here, I'd like to thank all women for going through so much pain to make themselves more appealing to us. Just put a dab of this on my mustache. And I'm ready to go. What? I haven't said anything.
Oh Christmas tree, LED lights are shining. Oh Christmas tree, your plastic leaves are thriving. Permanent lifeless nature, saving the real pine trees out there. Oh Christmas tree, LED lights are shining.
You should know better not to get too close to high voltage. Ow! Ow! There is no easy way to use this damn taser. Let's try it again. Okay.
The circuit is very simple.
In this video, with the link provided below, the guy talks about how to make this overly simple circuit, which is obviously a fake. If you listen closely,
The secondary coil,
you will hear that the guy actually has an accent.
75 turn.
Of course, you can never trust a guy with an accent. I made my simple circuit connected here and I'll turn it on with my power supply. Here I turn on the supply. See? No sparks. There is not even a high voltage here that I can feel. So it's impossible for this to excite a fluorescent bulb. What the f? Was I wrong? Well, I'm never wrong. Well, you're pretty much always wrong. You're pretty much always shut up! And here's a napkin on the secondary winding. You sh**. This circuit can be further beefed up. Hi, I want to make a full bridge rectifier. Now let's plug it in. I have some loose wires connected to my circuit which I will stick into the power plug. As you can clearly see, I have no regards for safety. Don't be like that. Turn the power bar on. To see how the waveform changes. A quick calculation shows having 170 volt across 100 ohm generates 300 watts of power. It's like having a 300 watt lamp within your fingers. It burns your skin very quickly. Now I use pliers to hold the resistor. See, the output voltage drops, but with very small ripples because there is a lot of filtering. Wow, I was holding that. I let it cool down for a while and back a little bit and increase the power. DC pipe which will be mounted like this. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. This is gonna take too long. That's why I'm using 38 gauge wire, which is much thinner and can break easily, so I have to wind the whole thing with hand. At a rate of 1 turn per 10 seconds, I should be able to finish it within 6 hours and can start testing. Oh yeah, and I have to do my taxes too. I'm hoping that at least the capacitors are not charged anymore. Let's try them out. So if you like, go to my Facebook page, Electroboom, and like it there, and I'll start to share them with you. Look at these arcs created by my circuit. They're in order of 100,000 volts, and yet the only sound you hear from them isn't light. You can see the flow of electrons in it. But where are they going? Isn't the glass non-conductive? Whoops, it melted and broke the glass. I made this piece of wire that can balance on its center and I'm gonna put it on the coil. What? doesn't it hurt? What kind of sorcery is this? Did it decide not to hurt? Give me my finger. Ow. It starts spinning. There is a jet of electrons shooting from the ends, forcing it to spin. The hell? Ouch! Although the arcs are... Ouch! Ouch! The arcs are not jumping to the screwdriver, but it burns my... What even an idiot knows that you can't jumpstart a car with AA batteries, but I'm gonna do it. Let's charge the car battery with these. Now I have to wait till... Remember, to charge the battery with another, you have to connect the positive to positive and negative to negative, otherwise you'll short the battery.
Eddie, where are you?
I just started my car.
Oh great, you're fired, man.
Well, that was a pretty bad idea. I couldn't keep steady enough to read this stupid meter. If you ever wonder what's a sine wave, well, this is a sine wave.
What the f are you doing?
Who the hell are you?
I was just passing by. I think I'm lost.
Dude, this is my bedroom. Honey, did you leave the door open again?
It's okay, I'll show myself out. What kind of fetish were you performing?
Get out!
Okay.
Imbeciles. If I probe my eyes carefully, you see that the resistance of the eyes is somewhere between 20k to 50 kilo ohms. Somewhere around less than 100 kilo ohms even. Or my ears. It's around 200 kilo ohms. Or even my tongue. It's around 20 kilo ohms. It tastes funny. I'll use my function generator to apply a safe level of electricity across my tongue, around 4 volt RMS. I will change the frequency and read it from the scope, and at the same time I'll raise or lower my hand as an indication of discomfort. We can plot that later. Send the lens. This is the step needed for the future Robocop development and is a huge step towards animating paralyzed bodies. This plot will save many human lives and open doors for... First, you jack up the car. Then you loosen the nuts. His handbrake is... Then you lower the jack until the tire touches the ground. Then you loosen the nuts. Then you remove the tire. What the f? Oh. Raise the car again. Okay, let's plug it in. What was that? I blew the lighter fuse by shorting it with the broken connector. I guess we will be changing a fuse now. The fuse box should be somewhere in the... The hood has a stand that has to be securely placed into the hood hole. That's finally done. I should really buy another electric phone. My cell phone doesn't hold charge for too long, and it usually dies right when there is no charger available and I'm in the middle of sending an important text and everyone is waiting for my answer and BAM! It's gone. I have to wait for half an hour before I can get off the stupid bus and get into the office to realize they made a decision without me. Again, let's give it a try. There we go, the charger LED is on. And now it's off. It's turning much harder now. Oh no, 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 no! No, no! I killed the phone!
Did you say you killed your phone?
No,
Did you? Damn it, Matey! How much do we have to pay for your f***ups?
I was just making a video.
All for your stupid videos and for what? Read comments all day and giggle? $500 is a lot of money. Who's gonna pay for that? Your comments?
It's probably nothing, I'll fix it myself.
Yeah, it will end up in the pile of things to be fixed. Don't you think I know your routine by now? God, what did I...
And it's done. Let's check the output voltage. See, a nice 5 volts regulated output. Such an idiot, should have done it from the beginning. And voila, I have a flashlight with a USB charger. Let's try to charge again. Hey, it's charging now.
Why don't you plug it here?
No! No, I think it needs to be a little bit sharper. I like to use my angle grinder to sharpen the spoon. Ouch! Hot glue this piece of cloth to my mustache. Just make sure it doesn't touch your skin a lot. Now I'm going to slowly lower this box and see if my mustache wins or the weight of this box. Damn, those hair holes are bleeding again. I still don't understand how women wax so easily. You know what? Angle grinder is a very strong and dangerous tool. Just search for angle grinder accidents and you will be discouraged to use it. So always wear your safety equipment before using the angle grinder. You know what? Let's try on a different surface first to gain some experience. Now I have this disc with 2 types of surface and I'll see if they're effective. Okay, let's see if it works at all or not. Oh wow, it just broke off. Well, the other surface is good, so I'll just flip it around. Damn. Well, maybe I should just get rid of the sides. Yeah, this is too sketchy, but let's give it a try. Nope, not working. See, I had a dream to make this a commercial product. So, like, imagine you have your loved one laying on a bed and you just grind her back hair away. I didn't use the angle grinder on my mustache because it would make me a South Park Canadian.
is a little bit of lighter fuel and my mustache, and we are ready to go. Okay, let's flip it around. Ow! Okay, now let's... Always be aware of your surroundings. Show you how well it works. First, without the anti-pay. Trying again. First, without the anti-pay. Now, with the anti-pay. Poopy poop poop. Now, to support your favorite YouTuber, visit patreon.com/electroboom. Become a patron and help making the best videos on YouTube more frequent. Thank you for the love. Open the cell phone without breaking anything. Where the are those Phillips screws? Try to turn it on and retrieve all the data available. Find and identify the broken chip. Order new part and replace it. Put the phone back together and it would work like a charm. I wonder what it is. How hot is it? Wow, 135 degrees Celsius? This is a supercapacitor rated for 2.7 volts and it is 400 farads! Stop yelling at the camera! You thought the cap was gonna blow? Oh no, 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 this is expensive, be careful. Short the supercap. Of course the resistance of this wire is gonna limit the current through the supercap. Ouch! I totally burned my finger. First I have to set up a spot for my scope so it doesn't get dirty. Now I disconnect the battery positive to replace it with the capacitor. Blades are broken. If I break two opposite blades, then it will balance. Wrong too. There you go. Good as new. Now to improve the airflow, it's better to raise the lamp. Don't put your hand in a running fan. That blows the fuse, and it can't even protect the circuit here. Even their data sheet says reverse polarity connection will result in a blown fuse and may cause permanent damage to the inverter. Absolute garbage. And for that, I made this harness that you can plug to both sides. First, you plug it to the inverter. Anytime you connect a power harness, connect it to your load side first, so you wouldn't short your power supply or shock yourself. I'm only human after all. Let's very carefully plug it in. Easier if I just disconnect that specific room, which I believe is breaker number 3. Now we can safely plug them in. Apparently it was breaker number 2. You need to know how microwaves work. There. There. And staples. DC line enters from that corner and feeds it. Freezes it upwards of 2000 volts and feeds it to the magnetron, which resonates and outputs high power waves, and those waves shake the polar molecules, generating much heat. And this is a fan. Start the arc. Holy sh**. And we put our pot on the oven and set this to high, and it's on. Who turned this on? Now we cook a fresh batch of hot glue noodles to perfection. It's dripping all over the place. Now it's on fire. Make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. Add more as needed to your taste. Ah, lots of poisonous gases. I think it's ready to serve.
Now I'll make a bunch of holes in a ping pong ball using my soldering iron. And this is to block the ventilation, as I'll show later. Wow, the result was negligible. Yo.
Okay, let's hope I sealed everything well. Piece of shit. I'm done, man. My plexiglass just broke in half under the pressure.
Measuring the AC voltages at the input. So don't do this at home. Now we'll have high voltage as... Now as soon as I turn on this... What the is this? Ow! Don't try this at home. Now as soon as I... Why? Now if we measure that, it is... Slowly raise the voltage and see what happens. Yeah, there is something. No! Oh, I think the gap between the wires is a little bit too wide for the 2 kilovolt to jump across. Ow! Let's give it a try. Come on. Oh, whoa! Breaker. Breaker. Oh my god! Oh! The hell? The hell? Why bad things happen to good people? Come on.